Sukhiyotu and welcome to Buddhist Mahavihara's Facebook page. We are here going live this evening from the Buddhist Mahavihara's Facebook page on our Dhammadanaseries. And as I mentioned in the last program or the last Dhamma sharing, this whole month of July, all the English talks will be based on basically Buddhism and work ethics, on business management, on wealth generation, on productivity, on ways of keeping ourselves away from pitfalls and dangers and things that will cause your decline. And today we have a topic called How to Be Successful in Your Career. And joining us this evening from Sri Lanka is Dr. Yasassi Thera. Dr. Yasassi had been with us last Sunday with us, and Bhante had at least spoken on Buddhism and modern work ethics. And today, Bhante will be speaking on how to be successful in your career. Without much ado, I would like to invite Bhante, Dr. P. Yasassi Thera, to join us in our studio. Good evening, Bhante.
Good evening.
And welcome to the Buddhist Mahavihara's Facebook page and our Dhammadana series. Um, Before we start, let me just introduce Bhante and read his profile. For those of you who are not familiar with Bhante Dr. Yasassi, Bhante Dr. Yasassi is a senior lecturer at the University of Sri Jayawardenepura in Sri Lanka. He's also a visiting lecturer at the Buddhist and Pali University, Sri Lanka, the Kalaniya University, and the University of Colombo. Bhante is a scholar in Buddhist culture, civilization, and management, and also the discipline and complex research-based Buddhist studies. He has authored 5 books and 7 editions, one of which is Buddhist Attitude to Free Will and Quest. Bhante has also presented his research papers at many national and international conferences. Now, without much ado, I would like to invite Bhante Dr. Yasassi to start this evening's Dhamma sharing entitled How to Be Successful in Your Career. Bhante, would you like to start, please?
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Sukhi hotu. Dear Dhamma friends, today we are going to start today's Dhamma sharing entitled How to Be Successful in Your Career. In last Dhamma sharing, Dhamma talk, we were discussing on Buddhism and modern work ethics by paying special reference to Karaniya Metta Sutta, and in today's talk I try to pay your attention on how to apply Buddhism into into your career life, professional life, and through the light of Buddhism, how to be successful in your career or professional life. Basically, before starting Dhamma sharing today, I would like to draw your attention on few misconceptions on Buddhism. In my presentation, I have pointed out certain points. Mr. Leslie, can you share that presentation, please? In the presentation, at the inception, I have mentioned few misconceptions on Buddhism. It is mentioned that in the third slide of the presentation, you can see There are certain arguments presented by certain scholars presented by certain scholars saying that Buddhism is a pessimistic religion which doesn't pay attention on mundane development or the mundane progress of the individual. It means that they try to say that Buddhism is unpolitical, anti-political religion, Buddhism against the aesthetic or the aesthetic appreciation. It doesn't lead the individual to have a very pleasureful, successful life according to certain scholars, Western and Eastern scholars. In order to prove this idea, what they have mentioned is they points out Buddhism is a religion which helps us to make our life happy in the next world and not make our life prosperous in this life. That is the main idea that they have grasped with reference to Buddhist teachings. They try to point out that Buddhism always talks about supramundane successful of the individual or hereafter successful of the individual rather than talking about the prosperous in this life. That means mundane life or this existing life. Secondly, again another point is given. Buddhism accepts that the world is full of misery and sorrow. That is based on the fundamental teachings of Buddhism, such as Four Noble Truths, Three Characteristics of Existence, Tilakkhana, and certain other Buddhist teachings. Based on them, it says that Buddhism is a religion which helps us to make our life. Buddhism accepts that the world is full of misery and sorrow. It preaches a doctrine which helps to eradicate desire, leading to the attainment of worldly progress. That is the second argument presented against Buddhism, saying that Buddhism is such kind of a pessimistic religion. And third point, which is found in the third slide, it says that the teaching about karma revealed in the Buddhist doctrine are obstacles for the desire to achieve progress in this life. So this point is based on the karma, the theory of action, karma theory in Buddhism. So having misunderstood regarding the teaching on karma, they have pointed out that the concept of karma is an obstacle for the desire to achieve progress in this life, because sometimes people, when they have been born in a poor family, or when they have certain things like certain shortages in their day-to-day life, when they are facing different kinds of difficulties, problems, issues, all the time they are trying to think that all those things are happening due to the past karma or the karmic theory as pointed out Buddhism. But they have forgotten that Buddhism has given only 1%, or it means that 20% for the karma, while paying attention to another points which is found in the Buddhist teachings on karma. Then fourth one, again they have traced to denote that certain Buddhist teachings which had been pointed out by the Buddha is also obstacles for the mundane development of the individual. They are contentment, which is called santutti, detachment, viraga, renunciation, nekkhamma, simplicity, appicchata, easily supportive, subharata. These kinds of teachings in Buddhism are considered the hindrances for material progress of the individual. Santuttita, contentment means being happy what you have. Don't think of much. Don't make much desires, and being contented what you have. Detachment, viraga means away from attachment to desires, greediness. Renunciation, it means try to renounce or the getting rid of all the things, all the attachments. Simplicity, being simple in all the behavior and all the things. And then Subharata means be easily supportive. All these things are some of the teachings given by the Buddha, but having taken misunderstanding on these teachings, some scholars try to point out that Buddhism is a pessimistic religion which negates the mundane progress of the individual, mundane advancement of the individual. But as far as concerning the Buddha's teachings, entirely we can find out that Buddhism is neither pessimistic nor optimistic. Neither pessimistic nor optimistic. Then what is Buddhism? Buddhism is a realistic religion. Buddhism is a realistic religion. Neither optimistic nor pessimistic. If any of these two extremes comes, that is against to the fundamental teaching of Buddhism, middle path. Then Buddhism is a realistic religion which clearly shows the real nature of the universe towards the individual. Then what we have to identify is, through the light of Buddhist teachings, we can reject the ideas, misunderstandings, misconceptions on Buddhism presented by those scholars. Then what you have to do is, you have to be a positive thinker. You have to be a positive thinker. According to Buddha's teachings, you see, according to Buddha's teachings, Buddhism has clearly pointed out how to successful your career as well as your personal life. In order to have a very successful life in all the aspects, first thing is you should become a positive thinker. Who is positive thinker? You can see the picture, and in the picture there is a ball. On that there is a big elephant who is standing on one leg. Sometimes we may imagine that how it happens. It never happens. How whether this is right or wrong, It doesn't matter. The thing is that the nature of the positive thinker is the same. He never thinks like I cannot do something. I have never done something. I won't be able to do such and such things. I am very unsatisfied with the duties what I have assigned by where I am working, something like that. But the positive thinker always he sees the invisible. He sees the invisible. There are 3 points that is mentioned in the presentation. You can clearly see the nature of the positive thinker sees the invisible and feels the intangible and achieves the impossible. That is the nature of the positive thinker. So what he is doing is he try to see something rather than what others see. Beyond the window, they try to see beyond the window. Then they try to feel, practice what is not to be achieved or the practice easily, and they try to achieve impossible things, and that is the nature of the positive thinker. Then what you have to do is first you have to establish positive thoughts in your mind. Sometimes we use the term impossible. We use the term impossible. You can see the positive thinker always try to omit im and keep possible. It means that the possibility of doing something is the nature of the positive thinker. Then when negative thinker always try to say that I can't do that, I can do this and these things, something like that. Positive thinker try to cut off can't, and he always try to keep I can do it. I can do it. That is the positive words maintained by such a person. Then when we are preparing, creating our mind in positive way, what will happen? Entire our activities, deeds also would be positive. So Buddha says that whenever we cultivate bad things or the negative things in our mind, our deeds also would be negative. Chetanahang bhikkhave kammang vadami chetayitva kammang karoti kayena vachaya manasacha. The volition that arises in one's mind is considered the kamma or action. So therefore, the positive thinking is a set of thoughts that arises in one's mind. When these positive thoughts are arisen in one's mind, definitely his actions would be positive. Then, as a result of the actions, positive thinking becomes the positive action, and it becomes the positive habit. When we make something habit, we automatically try to do that. Normally, that is the nature of the habits. Positive thinking, positive action, positive habits. Then we gradually try to do the things, positive deeds automatically. Then final result of the positive thinking would be positive results. So that is the psychologically, that is how positive thinking leads us to the positive results. Therefore, dear Dhamma friends, what we have to do is Buddhism always try to cultivate only the positive thoughts by eradicating all the negative thoughts. Sabba papa sakaranang kusalasa upasampada. Sachitta pariyo dapanang etang buddhana sasanang. So Buddha said that all the Buddhas advise to sabba papa sakaranang, you have to away from, get rid of all types of unwholesome deeds. Here unwholesome deeds are nothing but negative thoughts, negative thinking, negative attitudes we have inculcated our mind. And kusalasa upasampada, here kusala means wholesome deeds. All the wholesome deeds are positive thoughts, positive thinking, positive ideas, positive attitudes. Therefore, Buddha said that one who needs to achieve one's achievement, definitely he has to eradicate all the negative thoughts, negative ideas, while cultivating positive thoughts. Then, in order to successful your professional life, career life, also the personal life, what you have to do is, this balance should be clearly understood. Normally, most of the people are unsuccessful. Why? They don't have balance in their life. Sometimes one aspect of their life is very successful, but certain aspects are unsuccessful. Then his life would be, progress would be deteriorated, declined due to that reason. So therefore, to maintain a very successful professional life, personal life, as well as career life, what you have to do is, you have to maintain very balanced lifestyle in your day-to-day activities as well as in your professional activities. Then this idea can be found through the different discourses preached by the Buddha. I have pointed out few examples to show you how to be balanced in our personal and professional life. It is very important. Next slide, you can see how those discourses clearly mentioned by the Buddha. There is a sutta called Anda Sutta of the Anguttara Nikaya. Some people say that Dvichakku Sutta. Here in this sutta, Buddha has pointed out Andancha Eka Chakkuncha Araka Parivajjaye Dvichakku Panaseveta Setho Purisa Puggalo. Here the meaning is, both blind and half-blind person should be removed, while the person who has both eyes should be associated. That is the meaning of the sutta. Here blind means not physical blind, person who is physically blind, but as a simile, Buddha has pointed out that here one who sees both eyes are equivalent to a person who is trying to successful in physical and spiritual both aspects of the human life. And the blind person is equalized to the person who deteriorates in both aspects of the human life, such as physical deterioration as well as spiritual degradation in their life. And third one is called one who can see only one-eyed person. His nature is, he can see either, he tried to success in his life either physically or spiritually. Buddha has pointed out that the blind person should be removed, Ekachakku, one-eyed person also should be removed. But the person who has both eyes should be associated. It means that the Buddha says that one who try to success in both aspects, physical and spiritual, both aspects in their professional life, in their career life, that is the balance way that a person's spirit successful can be rated. Therefore, that is the Anguttara Nikaya Anda Sutta. Then second example, you can see in next slide what is the second example of the Buddha's teaching. I am not going to discuss this in detail. Vyaggapadya Sutta, it is very familiar to you. But today I try to focus your attention on another dimension on Vyaggapadya Sutta of Anguttara Nikaya. Here you see the Buddha advised for the sake of both mundane and supramundane successful or the development of the individual. So this sutta, in the sutta Buddha has pointed out 8 factors that should be carried out by the individual in order to make their life very successful. This is somewhat equivalent to your not only your personal life but also your career life or the professional life. So 4 points have been mentioned as the points that can be gain happiness and well-being in this life. What are they? You know, Utthana Sampada, bliss of vigor. Arakka Sampada, bliss of protection. Kalyana Mittata, good companionship. And Samajivikata, balanced in life. These 4 factors, you can understand how Utthana Sampada is mentioned in the Vyaggapadya Sutta. It says that how to earn money, how to earn wealth successfully, how to work hard successfully, how engage in your profession successfully by vigo. Uttana viryadi gatehi, baha bala parititehi, seda vakittehi, dhammikehi, dhammaladdehi. Whatever the profession you are engaged in, you have to work hard. Baha bala parikitehi, you have to work with your shoulders. That means strength of your shoulders. It means work hard by wasting your effort, labor. Seda vakitehi, sweating. You have to work hard by sweating. Dhammikehi, the most important thing is that you should be righteousness in your professional life, in your career. Righteousness, this is very important. Because you know there are many ways of earning money, earning wealth, earning some kind of the things that we can get money. Buddha has rejected some of the activities, some of the professional deeds, such as selling weapons, or the selling humans or the beings, then selling meat and certain kinds of what we call satta vanijja, mansa vanijja, majja vanijja, selling intoxications, and visa vanijja, selling poisons. They are the certain rejected trade-ins that is preached by the Buddha. On the other hand, Buddha has appreciated cultivation, state service, doing professional activities in a private sector or public sector, even engage in proper or the righteous trading and the cattle breeding, etc. All these are, there is no harm to any person in the society, even though one person try to engage in any of these occupations. In the same way, when you are working, when you are engaged in your profession, career, definitely you should try to expend your labor according to the salary you have gained. That is very important. And secondly, Araka Sampada means protection of the wealth you have gained. How to be protected? There are many ways to indulge in or the deterioration of the of one's property. So you have to identify them. In Buddhist teachings, like Buddha has mentioned in Sigalova Sutta, 6 channels of waste in will. That is called 6 channels of waste in will. Bhoga Vinasa Mukha. It means the waste of waste in will. Indulgence in certain things, like certain points have been mentioned. Also, the Parabhava Sutta, again, Buddha has pointed out 3 ways of wasting or the deterioration of the individual life or the professional life. What are they? Itti dutto, sura dutto, akka dutto, jayonaro. Laddang vinaseti, tang parabhavaton mukang. Addiction to indulge in or addiction to women, that is the addiction to sex, whether women or men, both sides are accepted. Addiction to certain pleasureful things, like having a pleasureful life. Then suradutto, addiction to intoxication, drinking liquor and intoxications. Then third one says akkadutta, means addiction to gambling. These 3 points are mentioned as the ways of deterioration of the individual. Therefore, whatever how much you have earned money, earned wealth, their protection should be assured by yourselves. It is equivalent to Buddha has mentioned that it is equivalent to a tank, where there are there are six gates to be open. If a person having collected water into the tank, when opening the gates, automatically all the water would be disappeared. The tank would be empty. In the same way, if you practice these things, these bad behaviors in your life, definitely your life would be deteriorated. You never become successful be successful in your career. It means that in your professional life. Then Kalyana Mittata. Kalyana Mittata means you have to think much about when you are maintaining companionships or the friendships. Most of the friends we are meeting in our life are like the friends that rejected by the Buddha, Anya Dattuhara. Certain friends are always try to get something, only try to get something, steal something. They show us that they are very familiar to us until they are stealing what we have. Then Vachi Parama. Second one says Vachi Parama means he always try to, the second person always try to help us only by words, not by deeds. He says that when we needs help, he says that if you requested yesterday, I had to do that. If you make any request next week or next month, definitely I will do that. But in the present context, never help us. That is the nature of the Vachi Parama friend. And Anupya Bhani means He always try to admire whatever we say and whatever we do. Whether we are doing good things or bad things, both are accepted and praised. That is a way that how Anupyabhani person, friend. And the last one says Apaya Sahaya. Fourth one always try to leads us to the deterioration or the prone doings, bad deeds. He never leads us to the positive thing, positive deeds, and he always try to make us leads us to the negative deeds. Therefore, these are the bad friends, bad companions we are meeting in our life. It is not only in your personal life but also professional life. When you are working in your workplace, there may be these four types of friends. You may meet these four types of friends. Then what you have to do is you have to identify those people whether they are real friends or disguised friends. Always the proper real friends are upakaraka, always try to help you without accepting anything. Then anukampaka, always being compassionate towards you. When you happy, he makes happy, and when you are not happy, he also not happy. That is the nature. Then samana sukha dukkha. Then the third one is called Samana Sukha Dukkha, means he always with you whether you have money or whether you have not money. In the periods we are very rich, many people are gathering us, many people are living with us. They don't remove us while we have money and much wealth. But when we are becoming poor, gradually all those friends would be disappeared and vanished. No one could find even in a very difficult period. That is the nature of the most of the people we are meeting in our life. Therefore, the samana sukha dukkha, the person who is with you in both happy and adverse, is the a kind of best friend. And the last one says, Attakai, one who expects your progress. Some people, some companions you are meeting in your life, they always try to lead you and expects your progress, not your degradation, deterioration. Therefore, this Kalyana Mittata, it means companionship, is very important in order to successful your career life. You may understand how disguising people are coming in front of us, how they are until completing their desires, how they are trying to work with us, how they try to make familiar to us. Then you should have the wise to be understanding with regard to the whether the right person from the wrong person or the bad person. Then definitely you will be successful. Then the last one says that samajivikata means balance in your life. You should really understand, identify your income, and it should be balanced with your expenditures. That is the samajivikata. If you have if you don't have this balance in your life, definitely you will be unsuccessful. You will be deteriorated in your life. Therefore, these 4 points mentioned in Vyagapaja Sutta are very important to maintain a successful life and successful professional life or career life. And secondly, Buddha has not only paid attention to the material development, You can see another 4 points found in Vyaggapaja Sutta. They are Saddha Sampada, bliss of faith, Sila Sampada, bliss of morality or virtue, Chaga Sampada, bliss of charity, Panya Sampada, bliss of wisdom. Here, Saddha means not only respecting to, the going to the temple and worshipping or offering flowers to Buddha. Saddha means being faithful to your profession. Sometimes it leads you to maintain a very, trustworthiness in your life. When you practice saddha, definitely you are a trustworthiness person, because if you have saddha or the saddha confidence, then you never engage in any wrong deeds, wrong activities, wrong thoughts, or the negative thoughts. Sila Sampada, try to make your life very controlled in your senses. That means maintain a moral life or the virtuous life, moral life. Most of the times we don't have, since we don't have a moral life, we are addicted to different kinds of wrongdoings. Since we have no morality, we are addicted to women. We are addicted to intoxication. We are addicted to gambling. Sometimes we are addicted to wandering streets, idleness, or the laziness, something like that. Therefore, be confident and faithful on your deeds. Then Saddha, Sila, Chaga, you have to be very dedicative. Buddha says that don't be selfish only until compete in your desires. Don't work like that. You have to be very blissful of charity. Sometimes, when you are working, when you as a professional, when you are working in your company organization, you should try to dedicate your organization. Sometimes you may have to waste your money, waste your labor. Also, you may have to waste your time, extra time, rather than you are working proper working hours. Then that charity and idea should be existed. You should be understood that I am working with my, I am maintaining, I am having a very happy, successful life because of the place where I am working. Therefore, you should be very generous in your profession. Then Panya Sampada means you should have the wisdom of understanding right and wrong, good and bad, or the real way of the things. So Buddha says that these 4 points can be applied not only for the attainment of nibbana or emancipation, but you can practice these points even in your professional life, even in your career life, even in your personal life. Then you will have the very successful in your life. Since there is no confidence or saddha, most families are being broken in the today's society, because Buddha says that samasila, samachaga, samasaddha, samapanya. These 4 points should be equal in both wife and husband. When any of the wife or husband has any of these points, that life would be deteriorated and the final result would be divorce. Therefore, in the same way, Saddha, Sila, Chaga, Panya can be considered most important qualities that is to be cultivated by individual, which leads you to success in your personal life to the professional life. That is one example from Vyagapajya Sutta. Another more examples I have mentioned in the presentation. You may read it out. And another example, Tamo Tamaparayana Sutta of Anguttara Nikaya. In this sutta, Buddha has classified all the individuals in the society into four categories. You may meet many people, different people in your life. So out of them, there is one category called Tamo Tamaparayana, one who leads a life from darkness to darkness. Darkness to darkness. Second one is called Tamo Jyoti Parayana, one who leads a life from darkness to brightness. Tamo Jyoti Tama Parayana, third one who leads a life from brightness to darkness. Fourth one says Jyoti Jyoti Parayana, one who leads a life from brightness to brightness. You may see Buddha has given this teaching with similes. Here darkness means, the one who deteriorated, decline, unsuccessful. Then brightness means successful person. There are certain people who are leading to their life unsuccessful to unsuccessful. He never tried to success his career, his life. Always been unsuccess. Then Tamo Jyoti Parayana. Some people, they are trying to lead their life from the unsuccess to success. It means that sometimes they may have been born in a poor family, but because of his effort, energy, determination, perseverance, or certain qualities like good qualities, he tried to become a rich person, having cultivated good thoughts and good deeds. Unsuccess to success. Then Jyoti Tamaparayana. There are certain people who are leading to their life brightness to darkness. That means success to unsuccess. Who are they? They are the people who have something, who have studied, learned, who have received something from their parents, who have much wealth, but since they are engaged in wrong behaviors, misbehaviors, then they try to gradually, they are deteriorated and they are going to the darkness. That is the nature the Buddha pointed out. And the last person says brightness to brightness, one who leads the life brightness to brightness. It means that lead in a life success to success. Most of the people, they are having a very successful life. They are having a very successful career life. They are having a very successful professional life. In the same way, having cultivated good positive thoughts, positive ideas, positive thinking, having engaged in positive deeds, having positive habits, they are obtaining positive results and they are leading to their life into the very successful success. That is the nature. However, these four similes, among the four similes, Buddha has appreciated two persons. One is called one who leads to the darkness is rejected by the Buddha. And second person, one who leads the life from darkness to brightness, unsuccess to success, is also appreciated by the Buddha. Third person, one who leads from brightness to darkness, success to unsuccess, is also rejected by the Buddha. The last person, Jyoti Jyoti Parayana, it means that one who maintain a very successful life and also lead into the success is also appreciated, very much appreciated by the Buddha. Therefore, what we have to identify is all we are categorized into these four categories. You may imagine because of your behavior, because of your thought patterns, because of your habits, and by concerning all these things, you may rate yourselves, whether I am include in which category, and then you have to think of your state, right, present status right now. Then what you have to do is identify where you are and to where you will go in next in the future, whether it is based on your personal life, professional life, career life, or any other life, any other aspect of your life. First thing is you have to understand based on this criteria, you have to understand where you are and who you are and what you are doing, something like that. Then you have to reflect from to where will you go and what will you do in the future, what will happen to you in the future, and then you may really understand how to become a very successful person in your career. Therefore, in these things, the Thammaparayana Sutta explanation on the successful career, you can really understand what is to be done and what is not to be done. Then next example is also the Vati Sutta of Anguttara Nikaya. I am not going to discuss it in detail. We will move on to next slide since we have to save our time. Again, next one, next, next. Sorry, earlier, previous one, please. Previous one. Yes, this sutta. This is also another one. Chakka Sutta of Anguttara Nikaya. You know the chakra means the wheel. In this sutta, Buddha has pointed out four wealth, out of which three are related to the current life and the last to the previous life. There are four wheels, that is very simple example. You are seen day by day in a chariot, in a vehicle. You see there are four wheels. If there is no four wheel, it is not able to drive the vehicle with four wheels. In the same way, Buddha says that in order to make your life successful, there are four factors that is to be practiced. You have to practice. One is called Patirupadesavasa. Patirupadesavasa means living in a peaceful area, peaceful country, right? Living in a peaceful country, peaceful area, peaceful society, living with the peaceful people, as well as having a very peaceful religion. All these are included Patirupadesavasa. All the people you are associating, the environment or the neighboring people and everything are considered the Patirupadesavasa. Second one is called Sappurisupasaya, associating with worthy friends, good friends, wholesome friends, virtuous friends, as I pointed out earlier. Third one says Atta Samma Panidhi. Atta Samma Panidhi means connected with profitable deeds. Profitable deed here, profitable deed means, engage in positive things, right things, or the most positive deeds. And the last one says Kubbeja Kata Punyata, having previously done merits. All these points. However, these four factors clearly mention how to maintain a very successful life. If you are selecting a proper place for you to work, if you are selecting a proper place for you to reside, if you have selected proper country for you to live, so that is very important point. Then even your professional place, career life, you have to find out a suitable place for engage in your profession, your career. If the current place is not suit you, then you have to find out a place that is very familiar to your skills, your professional qualifications, and so on. Secondly, you have to, the people you are associating would be very good people, like your boss, your leader would should be very productive one who has cultivated the qualities that is prescribed by the Buddha in Sigalovada Sutta. In the Sigalovada Sutta, the duties of the leadership should be considered. And whether those people are treating you like that, then you have to think of those people and their progress. And the such examples, I have given few examples. So when practicing all these things, then your career can be successful. Otherwise, you may have unsuccess in your life. So therefore, dear Dhamma friends, what you have to do is you have to identify and understand your strengths, your efforts, your skills, and then you have to think of the how to do your works and deeds profitably to gain the maximum profit. Here, maximum profit means that is not only for you but also for your organization, for your company, institution, where you provide your service. That equally the profits should be gained to both yourself as well as your organization. That is very important point that is preached by the Buddha. And then we will move on to the next slide, that is teaching which found many ideas on the successful career life. Next slide, please. So, among these teachings, basically, among the preachings, the Buddha's discourses preached by the Buddha, we can clearly understand how these things should be understood. Then, next one, please. Next. Okay, next one. Motivation slide. Next. Okay, then next thing is, until now, earlier one, I have pointed out how to be positive and how to balance your life. And then in our earlier slide, another thing is that we have to consider about how to be motivated. Slide number 25, I have mentioned be motivated. In Buddhism, different types of words have been given to motivate by yourselves. The terms for motivation are rich in Buddhist psychology. They are, you can see, virya, energy or effort, chetana, volition, intention, manasikara, attention, reflection, chanda, wish or want, saddha, faith or confidence, raga, lust, after, infatuated by tanha, craving, thirst, sankappa or vitakka, thought, intention, asava, influx, trade, intoxication. All these are related to the Buddhist psychological terminologies for the motivation. Some of them are raga, then asava. They are certain negative thoughts, negative deeds, but they are also motivated people in some extent. Therefore, those words are considered the negative things. Then we will move on to next slide, which is mention about the how Buddha motivated people. I am not going to discuss this. Motivation is another aspect of the professional life and successful career life. I am not going to discuss them in detail. In Buddha, while modern theories, while modern management try to motivate people by giving, by providing certain material things, but Buddha has given psychological practices in motivating people. I have listed them out, praising the qualities of the followers. Sometimes Buddha praised certain qualities of the followers like Sariputta, Moggallana, Ananda, etc. Then giving appropriate designations in Etadaggapali of Anguttara Nikaya, Iddimantanam, the foremost in the miraculous power, Dhammadanaseries, foremost in doctrines, foremost in Dhamma preachers. Like that, Buddha has given appropriate designations. Explaining the reality of the world. Sometimes the explaining the reality of the world is also a motivational force according to Buddhism. Then giving priority to free will and freedom is also a theory of motivation and positive thinking development. Through these factors, I am not going to discuss them in detail one by one. However, through these factors, you can clearly understand how Buddha motivated people. On the other hand, you can have the self motivation according to Buddhism, because Buddha has clearly mentioned the nature of the actions and the results, karma and results. In the teachings of samsara, also the punabbhava, or the results of the karma, all these points, what the Buddha has mentioned is Buddha has allowed us, advised us to be motivated by oneself. Then, having real understanding reality, you have to be motivated yourself. That is why Buddha has pointed out a theory called cause and effect theory. Whatever you do, the result would be the same. Buddha said, Attanava katang papang attana sankilissati. Whenever you engage in demeritorious deeds or the unwholesome deeds, you will be defiled. Attana akatang papang attana visujjati. Whenever you perform wholesome deeds, you will be purified. Suddhi asuddhi pachattang nanyamanye visodaye. The purity or impurity cannot be decided according to another person. That should be decided by yourself. Therefore, you are the person who has to take self judgment over yourselves. No one can judge on you. That is how Buddha has pointed out. Therefore, dear Dhamma friends, you should think of these things, and you are your savior. no other gods, no other any inhuman beings cannot force you. Therefore, you have to be think of whether you are leading to your life success or unsuccess in your professional life as well as personal life into which direction having decided that you should be very careful on your behavior, on your volitions, on your thought, on your ideas, and then that would be very important to have a very successful and successful professional life. Then next one is we can understand since you are becoming being the self motivated, you should be you should have a very you should have a leadership too. In the next slide, always try to show your leadership. Sometimes you will become a leader in different situations in your career life. Maybe you will become the leader of your house, your family, in your organization. You will become the head of your any of your company. Then we have to play the role of leadership in our professional life in different situations. At that time, what you have to do is you have to identify whether you are a good leader, successful leader who are leading others. Then, what are the qualities that you have to do? Here, the term leadership have been defined in another perspective with reference to Buddhist teachings. You know, L refers liberal. You should be a liberal person as a leader. E refers equal person. You have to treat everyone equally. Active, third one, active. As a leader, you should be active in leading other human resources and physical resources in your organization. And dependable, educated, ready wit, self discipline, humanity, intelligent and pleasant. All these are the qualities of the leadership as mentioned in Buddhism. So wherever it is not mentioned, but by concerning the Jataka stories and the leadership qualities of the Buddha's biography, Buddha's teachings, we can find out how Buddha maintained his leadership with all these qualities. If you, when you are becoming a leader, if you practice these things, you will definitely become a very successful leader. You may rate yourself again whether you are a successful leader in when you are working acting as a leadership. Then you check whether how many numbers, how many qualities and skills you have. Then you may rate 50%, 65%, 70%, something like that. You may judge yourself as whether you are a successful leader. So leadership is a very good quality for the success of the professional and career life. Most of the organizations are downfall due to the wrong leadership or the ineffective leadership, unproductive leadership. Therefore, that is what we have to identify. Even in your family, if you are the leader of the family, mother or father, if you are maintaining or if you have the wrong leadership qualities, your family would be fallen down due to the wrong leadership. Therefore, leader is the leader, therefore, we have to identify. So, he has to lead himself and all his followers. Otherwise, his leadership is not very successful. Therefore, think of that. Then we next slide, please. Then you have to understand and identify your duties well. Do your duties well. As you know, in Sigalovada Sutta, Buddha has pointed out, as the leader, as the master or employer, five qualities that should be carried out by yourself. You can read them out by assigning them work according to their ability, by supplying them with food and with wages, by tending them in sickness, by sharing with them any delicacies, by granting them leaves at time. So these are the duties that accredited to the employers. So most of the employers are not successful due to since not practicing all these things. Then you suppose that you are an employer, then you should reflect these five qualities. And then you suppose that you are an employee, you are a servant, you are a person who provides you a service to another company, another organization. At that time, you should really understand what are the duties assigned to you, possessed you. They rise before him. It means that before the lead, before the managers, owners are coming to the organization, company, you have to go there. You have to be present before the masters, before the employers. They go to sleep after him. It means that they have to wind up their works after the masters, right? Most of the time, in the present context, people are thinking of the time duration that they are accredited by the government. They are waiting for that. But the productive person, successful person, who is thinking of the positive in their organization always think of how to leave from the organization later, just after the management committee, managerial people left. Third one says they take only what is given. No stealing anything possessed to your organization. Even a half sheet or a pen or any kind of small stuff. Don't make it as a, don't try to steal them or be a theft them, since you should be very trustworthiness into your organization. Then fourth one says they perform their duties well. Don't be lazy. Don't get frustrated or the disappointed with your work. Always try to work very happy and with vigor and determine, and if by your complete maximum effort, and uphold his name, good name and fame. Here, his means your masters, employers, good name. Don't criticize your organization, your institution, your working place. Don't criticize your profession or don't try to criticize your masters. You should try to uphold the good name of the organization where you are maintaining your life. If you cannot work with this satisfied mind, what you have to do is you have to leave from that. You have to leave that organization and find out a suitable place that suits your skills and everything. Therefore, think of these things. So I just want you to introduce the Buddhist teachings on how to be successful in your career. I suppose that more than 1 hour we were discussing on many teachings given by the Buddha with regard to the with regard to how to successful in your career. Therefore, dear Dhamma friends, think of these things, reflect on these things, and make positive attitudes in your mind. Eradicate negative thoughts and negative attitudes. then try to be trustworthiness person, and definitely you will be very successful. You will lead your life into success. Therefore, with these positive deeds, positive thoughts, I wind up today's sermon, today's talk, wishing you all the best and good health. Thank you very much for your patience hearing. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Thank you, Bhante. That was an excellent sharing. I think we have learned a lot about how to be successful in our careers according to the Buddha's teachings. I think this is for some of us it's new, some of us we have heard this before, but it's also a good refresher so that we are able to practice what the Buddha taught in our daily lives for our daily practice. Bhante, there are three questions. I know it's about 1 hour 15 minutes already. Shall we go through the questions, Bhante?
Okay.
I will just post the questions on the screen.
Why? Why is it easier for people to fall into temptation like lust for money, power, sex, etc., and how to avoid the temptation and uphold righteousness? Yes. That is the human nature. Buddha says that the human nature is all humans are not only the humans but also beings. All we are direct into wrong side. That is the nature. Greediness, lust, or indulge in certain things. That is the nature, right? Then what we have to do is we have to go beyond the streams. Like there are two words, patisotagami and anusotagami. In anusotagami person, he goes to the direction where the water flows down. Anusotagami person, he tries to go to the upper side of the water. In the same way, human nature is we are always direct into negative sense, negative thoughts, negative idea, bad directions. But we have to think of ourselves, and by understanding all the things we have to return to the right path. That is our own duty. No any other way to achieve these things. Second question is, my husband is not very happy when I attend dharma related activities or listening to dhamma talks. I take this as a blockage in my path to liberation. What can I do to remove or reduce this blockage? By the way, my husband is also a practicing Buddhist. That is, when I finalize my teaching, Dhamma talk, I said, you are your savior. That is what the Buddha said, right? Buddha said, Atta Deepa Viharata Atta Sarana Ananya Sarana. Atta Deepa Viharata Atta Sarana Ananya Sarana. You are make you think you are the savior of yourself. No one can save you. Even though your husband, your child, or your children, neighbors, relatives, no one can release you, save you, or no one can accompany you to the heaven or attain Nibbana. So sometimes, some people, even though they are practicing Buddhist, they are not satisfied, they are not interested in good deeds. Not only they are not engaged in, but also they blockage, or they harass others to, they make obstacles others to engage in good deeds. That is the nature of the certain people. Therefore, what you have to identify is, since that is the human nature, even though you cannot change, sometimes you cannot change. Therefore, you have to think of your liberation, and husband will decide his liberation. So that is the way, only way that you can tackle this problem. Otherwise, even though you advise much, even though you try to expend thousands of words to explain all the things, they cannot do, right? Therefore you should be the you should think of your liberation and engage in good deeds without stopping them. Third question. My niece have many bad habits like laziness, like to lie, and irresponsible. She is struggling to overcome these kilesas. Can Bhante give me some advice so I can help her? Thank you. Right? With reference to Buddhist teachings, what we have to do is, first thing is you have to enlighten them the importance of the human life, because since we don't have clear idea, clear understanding on our human life or the importance of human life, then we try to misuse the human life we gain in this life. Therefore, that is one enlightened path. On the other hand, with reference to Buddhist teachings, we can advise the consequences of laziness and the importance of working responsible and working hard to achieve until achieving one's own goals. Most of the time, we know that the first generation parents are earning. They try to keep everything, hide everything, even without using, consuming by themselves. They try to keep them for the sake of their children. Then what happened? Second generation thinks that I have these things and these things. My parents have left me house and everything. Therefore, no need to work hard. No need to try to work the things like that. Then next generation will completely disappear, destroy everything, because of that. Don't think much to keep for your children, because they will earn for themselves. You may have your life, you may have a very successful and comfortable life, whatever you are gaining by with your effort, and allow them to be independent until they are, whether they are having a successful or unsuccessful life. That is the only way we can overcome these things. Otherwise, we cannot, even though we try to enlighten them, make them understanding on that, they never understand. Okay.
Thank you, Bhante. Those are the three questions we had this evening. So we have come to the end of the Dhamma sharing. Bhante, would you like to conduct the Anumodana before we end?
Okay, we having participated in today's Dhamma talk, we accumulated much merits. Sabbadanam Dhammadanam Dinati, as mentioned by the Buddha. Preaching Dhamma excels all other donations, so all other givings. Therefore, we practiced in Dhamma, we listened to a Dhamma sermon. With the power of the merits we accumulated through listening and conducting this Dhamma sermon, we will transfer the merits to the gods who are safeguarding our life. May gods be well and happy, and may their protection would be given to ourselves, our life, and our career. Then, secondly, we will transfer merits to the dead and gone. You remember and memorize all the dearest and nearest people who died, who departed one. and may they be well and happy. May they rejoice with these merits and may they attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Finally, through the power of this meritorious deed, I wish you all the best. May your life be very successful. May your life be happy. May all your endeavors come true in this life. And may you be well and happy with the power of the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. Finally, may all these meritorious deeds be helpful for us to attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Akasattaa ca Bhummattaa Devaa Nāgaa Mahittikaa Puññantaṃ Anumoditvā Chiraṃ Rakkantu Lokasāsanam Akasattaa ca Bhummattaa Devā Nāgaa Mahittikaa Puññantaṃ Anumoditvā Chiraṃ Rakkantu Lokasāsanam Akasattaa ca Bhummattaa Devanaga Mahitika Punyantang Anumoditva Jirang Rakkantu Tvang Sada Devo Vasatu Kalena Sassa Sampatti Hotu Cha Pito Bhavatu Loko Cha Raja Bhavatu Dhammiko අභිවාදනශීලිස්ස නිච්ඡං වද්දාපචායිනෝ චත්තාරෝ ධම්මා වඩ්ඩಂತಿ ආයුවන්නෝ සුඛං බලං ආයුරාෝග්‍ය සම්පatti සග්ග සම්පatti මේවච අතෝ නිබ්බාන සම්පatti විනාතේ සමිජ්ජතු සුඛී හොතු.
Thank you, Bhante. Thank you for an excellent sharing this evening. And on behalf of the Committee of Management of the Buddhist Mahavihara and also the monks of the Buddhist Mahavihara, let me take this opportunity to thank Bhante for taking time off from his busy schedule and for spending two Sundays with us, last Sunday and this Sunday, and delivering two excellent Dhamma sharings over the two Sundays. And also to our sponsors this evening, thank you so much for sponsoring this evening's Dhamma sharing. And to our viewers, thank you for joining us this Sunday evening for a very interesting talk. I'm sure you appreciated the Dhamma sharing by Bhante, and you have benefited greatly from this Dhamma sharing. So with that, we've come to the end of this evening's Dhamma sharing. So thank you one and all, and have a pleasant evening. Sadhu.